All right, everybody. We are here. My guest is Alessia Cohle. I'm just waiting for my screen to look. It's kind of looking a little dark at the moment. Let's see what's going on here. But Alessia Cohle will be joining me in a moment from Mississauga, Ontario, country artist who is going to perform a song for us as well. She'll be joining me any moment. There we go. Okay, now my camera is back to normal. It was a little dark. Alessia, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
I am doing just great. Thank you for joining me and all of our viewers this afternoon.
Thank you for having me. It's always fun chatting with you.
It is. It's always a great time, and you're looking good today.
Thank you.
Here we are, and I see some musical notes in the background and a pretty cool saying up there.
This is my little music room that we got set up in the basement. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do next or in the spring when I move out. I adulted and bought a condo.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Big
So
change.
I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do with all of this. It might just stay here, and my storage will just, be my parents' basement.
There you go.
But that's okay.
Free storage is a good thing. What would be your ultimate music room, Alessia, like at your new place? Like, do you have a room you're going to dedicate to music?
No, it's a little 1-bedroom, 1-bath, just for me.
Gotcha.
And, I was hoping for, a den, but it didn't work out that way, which is fine.
Yep.
So I'm going to bring my keyboard and my guitar with me, bring my microphone and my stand for, for stuff like this.
Yeah, perfect.
And then just leave, my PA system and all my big hardware. I'll just, leave it here and pick it up whenever I need it.
And it's so cool because you also come from a musical family. And tell us a bit about that. Anybody who watched your Facebook live shows with your family, kind of like a throwback to the Partridge Family days, way back. But you're like a musical family.
We are. My dad plays bass and sings. He pretends he doesn't like to sing, but he's good at it. Okay. He always sings harmonies. My brother plays guitar. My mom plays piano and likes to sing. Not great. She's not a singer by any means. We always joke that she can't really carry a tune. I definitely got it from my dad's side of the family, but my dad's dad was a professional singer for many, many years.
Wow.
I want to say 48 or 50 years he was in the music industry.
Amazing.
Yeah, so my first concerts ever when I was little performing, I was, 8 years old performing Italian music with my grandfather and my dad on stage.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How cool is that? So you got really used to being on stage at an early age and it probably felt just natural.
Well, it's so funny because as a little kid, you have no fear when you're little.
Yeah.
And I had no fear as a little child, being on that stage up until I want to say late teen or early teen, that preteen era when you're 12, 13 and you actually start getting, a little self-conscious about stuff because, everything's changing, your world is changing and you're going to high school soon. But all throughout high school, I went to an arts high school. So I was performing in choirs, in the musicals. And that was always fine for me because in a choir setting, you're with, a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
And, but when it came to myself singing solo on a stage in front of everyone, I would get really nervous. Okay. I had major stage fright for a bit. And my parents used to laugh and say I had this one dance move on stage and it literally was just my ankle would move.
Okay.
I was so nervous that I just wanted to stand there and not move. And, but I came out of my shell and I definitely don't just stand in front of the microphone anymore. I definitely move around and, like to dance around on that stage and interact with my musicians and with the audience. Yeah. But it did feel natural. It was just the natural progression that music was, where I was going to end up.
Do you remember the point in your life, Alessia, where you decided that you were going to pursue music in terms of not just do it as a hobby, obviously, but to record and actually take it seriously?
It was, so I wanted to teach music. I always wanted to be a teacher. I like teaching. And I was all set after university because, I did music throughout high school, went to Western for music. And then I was ready to go to Australia for Teachers College. I had my acceptance letter. I was ready to just, click on that accept button.
Yeah.
And then Berklee College of Music started their brand new master's program. And they were now offering master's degrees. And one of the degrees was in contemporary performance, which is what I wanted. That's like where I thrived and where I wanted to be. I didn't want to do a classical music degree again. I was like, I've been there, done that.
Right.
I want something more contemporary to be able to relate more to students, being in the pop culture. And I applied and I got my acceptance June. By September, I was in Spain, and it was there that I found my love of songwriting. I mean, I had always written songs before, but never really amounted to anything. And it was just more for me. But there, just meeting all of these amazing creative people who truly supported you and supported what you wanted to do. And they were the ones that kept calling me a singer-songwriter. Right. I was like, no, I'm a singer. They're like, well, what do you sing? I'm like, well, I'm in bands like back home, like whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, well, do you ever sing your own music? I was like, well, I never have before. And then I started to, while I was there, we would go to some open mics. We would put on our own shows throughout the school. And I just started gaining more and more confidence singing my own lyrics. And, the rest is history, as they say, because, here we are so many years later.
Yeah, here you are, right? You've got a music career. You've had a couple of albums out. Correct me if I'm wrong. The two have been Talk to Me and Wild-Eyed Wanderer. Yes. What is that like? Or actually, before I get to that, what I was thinking as you were talking about that is, how would somebody out there kind of know where to start? Because unless you find the right group of people, and there's a scene obviously on the country music scene, but you might go to the wrong kind of producer or not get in the right group. So how do you kind of gravitate and find a supportive community in the music world?
Well, I actually did find the wrong, I guess. I don't want to say wrong because it taught me a lot of lessons, but my actual first, I call it my first pancake, was prior to Talk to Me. My Let's Get Gone EP that was like 1,000,001 years ago. Right. You actually wrote a song.
That's right.
On that.
It was, I think it was called Heart of Gold.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
So I kind of call that EP my first pancake. I was really proud of the songs on it, but some of the people that worked on the production side of it were just not my kind of people, and but they taught me great lessons. Right. And it wasn't the most fun experience, and that was kind of my first look into the music industry here, and
right.
I kind of put a really sour taste in my mouth, to be honest, to the point where I was like, I don't think I want to be involved with this at all. Like, this is kind of a toxic atmosphere. But then I found a couple more people that were more genuine with what they were doing, and they wanted to see me succeed. And I started surrounding myself with those people. And then you learn, because I had that experience, I learned very quickly how to read people better.
Right.
And I'm very grateful that I found Doug Romano, who was one of the producers on Talk to Me. Yeah. And he helped me write almost all of the songs, I want to say, on the record. And, he brought me to Nashville and introduced me to some incredible writers that I still write with and have become really good friends with today. So I have a lot of great things to say about Doug. So I consider him my first real producer.
Right.
And you just have to trust your gut. I trusted my gut more. I thought, no, I'm still, I'm young, I'm naive, I don't really know much. So I didn't trust that gut instinct, and I wish I had. But hindsight's 2020,
Yeah.
and I've learned and I've grown from those experiences, and I truly believe everything happens for a reason. And I truly believe that if that experience hadn't happened, I wouldn't have met Doug, and all of the wonderful things that have happened in my life since then, including, he invited me to sing backgrounds for the CCMAs for 3 years in a row, and, amazing things, and Talk to Me and Wild Eyed Wanderer would not have happened if it hadn't been for that. So, I just take everything as a learning curve.
Yeah, it's great to learn from that. And I'm sure then you appreciate somebody like Doug 10 times more than if you had only gone straight to him, because you realize it's not always like that.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that you were able to not let that experience poison you. As you said, obviously it left you with a bad feeling, but you're able to get past that and not give up. And then you found the right people, because that is so important. And the country music scene is such a great community. And everybody is so positive. You just have to find your way into it if you're not already there.
Exactly.
But great people. So these albums, what was it like when you mentioned Let's Get Gone, but say Talk to Me with Doug came out, and you're making your way on the country music scene. It's got to feel great when you have a whole body of work out for everybody to hear.
It was surreal for me, having all my family and friends come out to the release party,
right.
And even just people that were becoming fans of mine, and they're like, oh, we heard your song on the radio. And I'm like, me? Are you sure you're talking about the right person? Like, it was wild hearing people tell me that for the first time. It's still, that feeling still hasn't gone away. Like, I get people that will message me and be like, oh, I listened to your song. I stumbled upon, your music or whatever. And it's like, I really enjoyed it. I'm like, thank you so much. Like, it's just so, I don't know that I can put into words the gratitude and that I have for people who want to listen to my music and who enjoy it and who want to continue. And I have people, always saying, when are you coming out with new music? When are you putting out new music? And it's so validating is the wrong word, because I have my own validation for myself, but it's just so nice to be recognized by the community and the audience that I'm trying to reach.
Yeah.
That they're relating to my music. So it just feels so great having some bodies of work out there that people are relating to and wanting more.
That is such a great feeling. And I know you put out music, but people are going to listen to it, but you don't, when you hear back, it's so profound that they actually like that song and love that song. And do you have, I asked Nicole this earlier, any song of yours specifically, Alessia, that somebody has said to you, that song really impacted me or made a difference or changed something about me?
Yes. I can't remember. It was the Talk to Me album. Okay. I don't know specifically what song it was. It might have been High Road, which was one of my favorite songs that I've written.
I was listening to that earlier. I take the high road, you take the highway. It's great book.
Thank you. And I want to say it was that one, but I had someone that I didn't know very well or at all, I don't think, who sent me a message saying that my music helped them through a really difficult, dark period in their life. Wow. And I started crying reading this message, and she went into a bit of detail, and we've since become friends. So,
amazing.
You never know where your music is going to take you. And everyone always says, oh, not everyone. There's a lot of people that are in it, for the fame and the fortune. And for me, seeing those kinds of messages and seeing that kind of impact, that I'm like, my music has made that impact on your life. Like, are you kidding me? That's the best feeling. So the Talk to Me album was really, for me, a big step. It was a big one.
Yeah. There's steps in your career, right? In everybody's career, where this was a milestone, and then the next album might be a whole other level up. Did anything change between Talk to Me and Wild Eyed Wanderer, like in the way you do music or think about music?
With Wild Eyed Wanderer, I Not a lot changed. I really wanted to hone in and bring out my upbringing because, my dad being a bass player, we listened to so many different genres of music growing up.
Right.
He always kind of had Motown and funk and classic rock on in the house.
Yeah, nice.
Then when I would play or I would sing with him and like some of the cover bands that he used to be a part of, and he's like, "Oh, Alessia, we need a singer, come and sing." And then I ended up being the singer in the band. So I wanted to bring a little bit of that influence into that album, which I think we found a good balance, and it kind of never went away. That influence is always stuck, and I'm very okay with it. Country nowadays is not, it's very open to different sounds, and sonically is changing every day.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really proud to be a part of this genre that is so open to hearing new ideas and mixing different, I hate the word genre because I feel like music is music.
Right.
You either like it or you don't. You either vibe with it or you don't. But I'm really proud to be in this genre that is so, open to mixing everything.
100%. And have you introduced anyone, Alessia, to country music in terms of they might have gone to one of your shows, said they're a country fan, which we run into a lot, and then they end up liking it in most cases. But did that happen?
Yes. My parents.
Okay. Right at home.
Everyone. They always loved country. So my dad loved Martina McBride and Faith Hill, Dixie Chicks. Sorry, the Chicks. They're now just the Chicks.
There you go.
We're into that, but I have them listening to so much more. Like now, KX94 is like saved on both of their car radios.
Oh, right on.
I'm like, okay. And so that happened a few years ago. One of my buddies who I play with, I'm playing with him tonight, actually. Okay. He always appreciated country music, but I've been asking him to play more and more with me for some shows. He's more in the pop world.
Right.
Pop rock world, and he'll do some of his own stuff, his own like pop stuff, like The Killers or Ed Sheeran, that kind of John Mayer, that kind of style. Sure. And then I'll throw in all the songs that I am singing at a show. And he has said to me on occasion, he's like, there's a lot more to country music than I knew. I know. It's like there's like some really intricate melodies and rhythmic things that are happening that you just don't hear in pop music. I'm like, I know.
I've been telling you that. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's been listening more and more. I've gotten a few of my friends. They're like, country. I'm like, just come to a show and listen.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay. And I'm hooking them in. I'm reeling them in.
Yeah. That's awesome because that's all it takes. They just need that exposure and they end up liking it. Like I said, in most cases, they just don't realize it. I was thinking back to the great performance you did at Cider Fest in Toronto. I got to see that, and you did a lot of originals, but a lot of covers as well. You did some Reba stuff that was great. But that was such a great show. It was a big stage, a lot of people there. And how did that feel at that show?
That show for me, besides the fact that it was my birthday that day,
right?
I was just like, oh, there's thousands of people just at my birthday party.
Birthday party, yes.
How I thought of it, and that show was amazing. I was feeling great. All my closest friends and family were there because it was my birthday, and they're like, yeah, we'll come and listen. It's it's in Toronto, it's down the street, and I was expecting because it was Cider Fest, so most people are there for the cider. Right. And I had so many people up, like almost rushing the stage and dancing and two-stepping and singing along with me. And some of them were singing along to my songs, not just the covers I was doing. And I was like, how do you know what is happening? It was like the coolest feeling. And I had quite a few people follow me on Instagram and stuff afterwards, and I've interacted with them, and they've become fans. They're like, we're fans of yours now. I'm like, this is so cool.
I thought that was such a great performance. It was all you, of course, and your band, but it was your songs and covers. I thought you just did a great job on that. Really professional.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so cool. Shania Twain, I know, is one of your big influences because we talked about this, and she's influenced a lot of female artists. But she was the first concert you went to with your mom.
Yes.
And I guess your first concert ever.
That was my first concert ever.
Wow.
It was her Come On Over tour in, 98, 97, 98.
Something like that.
And yeah, my mom took me to the concert because I guess all I did was play that CD over and over in the house. I have a vague memory of it. I remember singing her Up album all of the time.
Right.
And yeah, so my mom brought me to the concert, and I remember, just being in awe of everything about it, from the lights and the cameras rushing around the stage to capture her on the big screens that everyone could see and was watching. And they brought her around on this big cushion at one point in the middle of the arena. And I'm like, I want to do that. That looks so cool. And then my mom was like, okay, Alessia, you're 8 years old. Okay. But then I never stopped saying it, and I never stopped wanting to be on a stage, and I never stopped wanting to do anything else related. Everything was music. And like I said, it was just the natural progression. Of course, that's where I was going to end up, was, here. And so, yeah, Shania Twain has been a huge influence for me. And like you said, many other women in country. She kind of paved the way for us, for sure, with pop country. Yeah. She was the first to really be like, no, this is what I'm doing. And I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah. Kind of like Garth Brooks, she took it to a whole other level. The performance, the big shows and everything. And like you said, pop country, she really brought that to the forefront, and glamour and everything. So, but it's amazing at that age that you saw that what a life-changing concert. That really set the tone for the rest of your life.
It really did. And my mom likes to poke fun and say that she takes credit. She's like, I brought you to that concert. I'm like, yes, Mom, you did. So thank you.
Who are you listening to these days? I asked Nicole this as well, but that we might not know, whether even if it's not the country genre, but who should we be listening to that you're is there any one artist that you're digging these days?
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
I just always have my Spotify just on shuffle. Actually, oh my gosh, what's his name? Jenner. He's the actor. He's in I have to look it up.
Okay, go for it.
As Renner.
Not Jeremy Renner.
Yes.
Okay, from a bunch of movies, including The Bourne Identity.
Yes.
At one point. Okay.
He sings.
I didn't know that.
He has an album out.
Wow.
I stumbled upon, so Jeremy Renner. I'm 99.9% sure that this is it. My internet is slow. Okay. But yeah, so I happened to stumble upon, I was listening to a random playlist on Spotify while I was cleaning a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And this song came on. I was like, oh, this is really cool. And then I looked to see who it was, and it was Jeremy Renner. And I went, that's funny that it's the same name as the actor. And I'm like, no, that was him.
It's him.
So he sings, and it's great. It's got this rock, southern rock feel.
Wow.
Also, the actor Jensen Ackles, I
recognize that name.
He may or may not be my celebrity crush.
Okay.
He is an actor, plays Supernatural. He is now in a duo.
Oh, wow.
I want to do the Railroad Company. I'm so bad with names. I'm brutal. I'm actually
I'm
brutal.
the same way. It doesn't always.
I'm the worst. Radio Company. So I was right.
Okay.
It's great. It's so good. So I've been having that on loop for a bit. So I put all of them in this own playlist for to jam out to in the car.
You're right. With Spotify, though, there's so many more artists we can hear. So yeah, there's just much more stuff we're listening to. Some of it's not going to stick.
Yeah, and I love that on Spotify. When you're listening to a specific artist, it'll tell you at the bottom, you may also like.
Right.
It shows you like people that are not similar, because no one is really similar. Everyone has their own thing going on, but just like in the same kind of umbrella.
Yeah.
That's how I found Jeremy Renner. I was like,
Amazing.
what is happening? This is so cool. It's because I was listening to Radio Company.
And that led you there, yeah.
Definitely recommend them.
Okay, we'll check those folks out. Any challenges that you've had? You mentioned, the early on experience with the album and that, but anything along the way that you've had to work on, Alessia, that either didn't come easy or you've had to struggle a bit? Struggle might be a strong word, but you had to overcome to stay at this.
For me, well, because that was kind of my first introduction to this world,
right?
That I definitely had to overcome, because I was ready to quit. I was like, no, I'm done. But one of my friends, I would talk to him about it all the time. So we ended up writing a song about it called Weight of You on the Talk to Me album.
Right.
And so I put my feelings to, song, and a lot of people were like, oh, it's about like a bad breakup. I was like, well, actually it's not. It was a bad breakup because, the relationship was, true. I had to remove myself from it. I just finding where I fit, because I think everyone has a place in this industry, and it's very difficult that, as women in music, we still have to fight so hard to be heard sometimes. And I don't want to put everyone under that category, because there are a lot of radio people and a lot of men in country music, in the industry as a whole, who do support women and who want to see women, thriving and succeeding. Yeah. And I truly believe that there is a place for all of us. But for me, it was finding my sound and my, what I wanted to say and how I wanted to say it. Because, a lot of people will tell you, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should do this. And I was like, I don't need any more unsolicited advice. I just want to do what I'm going to do. If it works, great. That's amazing. Right. If it doesn't work, at least I tried, and I can say I did it my way, and I did it from an authentic and genuine place, and not because people were saying, oh, well, that's not commercial enough. It's like, well, maybe I'm not commercial then, and it's playing that game a little bit.
Yeah.
Of that right balance of being relatable and commercial enough, but still staying true to me and the music that I make.
A great way of putting it. And I know that is a challenge and can be, right? Because you've got that, the commercial side versus what you want to do authentically. Sometimes they meet. And also the advice you get, like you said, unsolicited advice. Everybody's got an opinion.
Yeah.
You only listen to so many people, and maybe your team closest to you is the one you listen to the most. That's got to be challenging. Yeah, kind of just finding your own voice and having the conviction to just stay at that.
Yes, and so what I will say is, it's always a bit of a risk when you're putting out any new music, because again, you don't know how it's going to land. You don't know if people are going to relate to it or react to it the way you hope.
Yeah.
And so I do have some new music coming out soon.
Okay.
I can't say too much about it, but I always seem to be on one of your shows when I'm about to release new music. I'm about a month out from releasing it.
Great.
I just if my manager had to respond. I was like, can I talk about it yet?
What can you tell us? What can you give us some hints?
I'm going to give you a couple little hints. It's coming out in about a month. Okay. And it will be going to radio. And it's a little different from, it's still very much, Alessia, Cohle, me, my sound, my voice.
Right.
And I don't mean like my physical voice, but like my inner voice and what I want to express.
Right.
But I'm attaching it to something. I can't tell you that part.
Okay.
I'm attaching it to something very exciting and very near and dear to my heart, and something I care about. And right now the world needs a little bit of hope.
Yes.
You know, this global pandemic, every single human on the planet, regardless of how it affected you, affected every single person in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So that really hit home for me. And I know quite a few people who, you know, this pandemic affected extremely negatively. I mean, we all have been negatively impacted in some way or another, like I said. And I wanted to do something to help somehow, and I wasn't sure how to do that. So, of course, I took to music. And the song is a song I wrote about a year and a half ago that I had sitting just like on the shelf. It was on my songwriting shelf. And I didn't know what I wanted to do with this song. I knew I wanted to release it.
Right.
I didn't know when or how, because it didn't fit on, like, with the previous stuff I was writing. It doesn't really fit with the newer stuff that I've started to write, because, you know, where everyone's always evolving and changing. And I woke up one morning and literally it was like light bulb. I was like, now, it's now.
Wow.
Now is when this needs to be released. And it was written with three of my really good friends, Victoria Boland, Andrew Rudd. Well, it's Victoria Rudd now.
Okay.
Andrew Rudd and Brian Mello.
Okay.
And I was involved in a freak accident in Nashville when I was with my friend.
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that to you a couple times.
I remember hearing about it, seeing it on social media. It looked pretty scary.
A tree came crashing down on my friend's house while we were all in it. And I'm making light of it right now, but I was in shock for like a solid week and a half after the event.
Oh my God.
After it happened. I mean, my friend was in all of this rubble. We were calling 911. It was like a whole major thing, but some good came out of it because I wrote this song while I was still in shock. I wrote this song.
Wow.
And it still rings true today. And I mean, it's very much my story and how I had to process what was happening for myself.
Right.
But I think it can help some other people that are kind of feeling the same way I was feeling in that moment. And I'm very excited to say that in 1 month, everyone will be able to hear it. I've only performed the song live one time acoustically at the Moonshine Cafe.
Okay.
And I haven't performed it since. And I'm debuting it on August 29th at Harmonia Fest. I know that you, Nicole, are talking about Harmonia Fest. Awesome. I'm very excited for that whole concert series. I'm very proud of the whole concert series. I was brought on as production manager.
Okay.
I wanted to, with the ICCM, it's the Italian Cultural Center of Milton. I wanted to just help out with the concert series because their like Italia Fest that they do every year, you know, was canceled because of the pandemic. And so she came to me and said, I still want to do something. Why don't we do a drive-in? And then it just kind of snowballed. And she was like, I need you to like be the production manager for the whole series. I was like, what does that mean exactly? So, you know, I found, other than the Harmonia Fest, like that, Nicole was in charge of the entertainment for Harmonia Fest.
Okay.
But for the other 3 concerts, I was in charge of finding entertainment.
Wow.
I had to find the stage, the sound engineers, the like what we were doing for PA and for radio transmission. Like for screens, we were getting screen. Like there was just so many small parts.
A lot of stuff.
I had to just like kind of put into this big puzzle piece and stay within budget.
Right.
Which was the most difficult thing to do. And it's really exciting because it's all in support of different charities. So every concert is we're donating to different charities, which is really exciting.
Oh, that's amazing. So
for everyone listening, August 28th is Ciao Italia.
Nice.
August 29th is Harmonia Fest, which is country night. September 4th is Living on a Prayer rock tribute night. And September 5th is the final show, which is Shake, Rattle, and Roll, and 50s night.
Nice. So this is all part of a series. I think I kind of saw that online, but all four are connected through the same thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So to see all of those things or find out about them, is there one page they can go to?
Yes. The ICCM's Facebook page is the Italian Cultural Center of Milton.
Okay.
Page. And on Instagram, it is Italian Cultural _Center _Milton. I can send all that to you as well.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll get it. I'll promote it out there on my Facebook.
Awesome. Thank you.
So wonderful. And I know that the place that the money is going to, the proceeds for Harmonia Fest, is Halton's Women Place, which is great.
Yes. For Ciao Italia, it's Rock and Pack a Bag. For Living on a Prayer, it's the Milton District School Hospital.
Right.
Milton District Hospital Foundation. Words running in my head right now. And the September 5th show is for Townsend Smith Foundation. I
think it's great, yeah, when it's not just only a concert, but that there's funds going towards a great cause. And you know what? That actually reminded me, because I totally forgot you've got a song. And when you hit that note there, it reminded me, wait a second, we had some music promised on the show. So we got some time left. I'd love to hear a song from you, Alessia.
Absolutely. Well, since we were talking about Talk to Me quite a bit today,
right?
Let's do the title track.
Would love to hear that.
It's been a minute since we had the drive-in concert or the festival a couple weekends ago, but it's been a minute since I've dug into this. So.
Oh, great.
Can you hear this okay?
Yes, nice and clear.
Perfect. Let's remember the words. You're a tall glass of whiskey and water. Don't think you could get any hotter. What the hell you doing standing way over there? Why don't you bring that party on over here? Just talk to me, talk to me. Grab your drink and walk up to me, up to me. You might be everything that I need, but you gotta come talk to me, talk to me. Ooh, just talk to me. Maybe it might be a sin to tell you all the crazy things that I'm into. Don't get it twisted, boy, I'm still classy. But you'll never know if you never ask me. Baby, just talk to me, talk to me. Grab your drink and walk up to me, up to me. Yeah. You might be everything that I need, but you gotta come talk to me, talk to me. I didn't get all dolled up just to look pretty. So get your fine self over here and get with me. Just talk to me, talk to me. Grab your drink and up to me, up to me. You might be everything that I need, but you gotta come talk to me, talk to me. Just talk to me, talk to me. Grab your drink and walk up to me, up to me. You might be everything that I need, but you gotta come talk to me, talk to me. Hey, 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 just talk to me. Come on over here. Oh, just talk to me.
Amazing, Alessia.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Love that tune. And you at the keyboard there is just great, very natural.
Thank you.
Is there anything you haven't accomplished yet, Alessia? Because you've accomplished a lot already, but anything you're thinking of that you want to do? Obviously, some things have to get back to normal for certain things to happen, but just in general over the next year or two, anything you want to have as part of your career?
Honestly, everything that I've wanted and then some, even things I didn't know I wanted, have started happening, which is
Cool.
so exciting. And my ultimate goal, I'm going to say goal, not dream, but my goal is to play what was the Molson Amphitheater, the Budweiser stage
Right.
in Toronto. I grew up going to concerts there all the time. And yes, there's, the Scotiabank Arena, which holds, more people, but that doesn't, there's something about an outdoor concert with all of there's this amazing amphitheater and, got the lawn seats in the back and everyone's just having a good time because it's summertime and everyone's just loving life. And I want to play that stage.
That's an awesome
That is
goal.
my goal. That is when I will say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you're on that stage and you're looking out.
I am putting it out into the universe. And, here we are. I want to play that amphitheater.
That is an awesome goal. And when you're standing out, looking at that stage, the one that you looked at from the opposite side as a fan, that's going to be one hell of a moment.
Yes, it will. And I can't wait for that day.
That is amazing. We should also let people know you've got a single out. Your most recent single is called Tell You. People can check it out. And the cool thing about that, it's a great song. Plus, you wrote it with Jason Blaine, who is a big Ontario country music artist, great writer, great artist, great person. And you had a chance to write. We've only got a couple of minutes, but maybe tell us a bit about the Jason Blaine experience.
It was so cool. He's such a genuine, awesome dude. And it was my first time writing with him. And, I was half starstruck, half super nervous. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to, I have to be prepared and have something, to bring to the table. And he was so cool. We just kind of sat and chatted for I want to say almost an hour before we actually started working, just to get to know one another. And we were telling, stories. And I felt really comfortable with him right away that, we started opening up. And as songwriters, you kind of have to do that pretty quick and find a way to tap into your emotions really quickly.
Right.
Because the more emotion that's in a song, I feel the more relatable it can be to everyone. And, we were telling stories and it kind of was that's what we're writing. That's the song.
Yeah.
And it kind of just became what it was. And so proud of my little song that could is what I call it. It
nice.
Really has opened some incredible doors for me. It cracked top 75 on Canadian country radio.
Awesome. That is great.
And I was the 15th most added Canadian female country artist for radio, which was incredible. Yeah. So I was pretty proud of that song.
That is great. It is a great song. People can check it out and all your music online. They can follow you on social media if they don't already. So hopefully we've introduced a few new people to you. Alessia, thanks so much for being here. Great.
Thank you so much for having me. It is always a pleasure chatting with you, Dave.
You as well. This could go on and on because it's great conversation.
Yes,
yeah. All right. Have a great weekend. And I know people will see you at your upcoming shows. Take care.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.